메인캐만 이제 하면 되지.
We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
얘는 나 피한다 이거. 바로 데미지 있네. 또 피한 것 같은데? 머리를 이게 흔들면서 피하네 계속.
This is fun, isn't it? Nice views, a little exercise and fresh air. Well, and sulfury, spory air.
It is a trek, isn't it? Almost like we don't have working lifts or roads. Rats. Let's clear this sulfur sodden fucks out so he can rest in peace. Here we go. Solid kill.
아, 니오카가 여기 가져버렸구나. 맞아.
Hayes was the best self-sacrificing son of a saint I ever met. Now, if we're gonna lure the Manta Queen out, we'll need to find Rebecca and Anders. Think it's time I call in a favor with Hiram.
뚜뚜.
Wonder if Hiram's home. Just kidding. Guy never sets foot outside.
I wonder how they punch a signal through the gas giant's magnetic field.
내일 초기화되면 그 폴아웃 할렘 미션 해봐야겠네. 또 3일 해야 되니까. 이 층으로 어떻게 올라가냐? 왔었던 데인가 본데. 계단이 어디지? 이쪽인가? 아니면 여기가 아닌가? 아, 이거. 온 적이 있었나 본데. 더 올라가야 된다. 아우, 눈 따가.
So much for peace and I don't see an. Oh, great. I love doing pro bono work for friends.
Aw, you called this I'd normally entertain your self-aggrandizing.
Important to you is not the same as important to me. Although I do recognize that you tug on my heartstrings, why don't you? Look, I'll do what I can.
Rebecca Hodges and Anders Wadsworth.
If UDL hired 2 hunters, these are the coordinates for the outpost. Give my regards to.
효소 수색하기. 마을 안에 있는가? 어디로 가야 되는 거지? 이게 17m.
What was it like in Edgewater? I hear you workers were on the clock every available moment.
We always got 8 hours a day for sleeping. Just not always consecutive.
My condolences. I appreciate consistent wages like any other sane person, but that's just...
아, 엣지워트로 다시 가는 거야.
We are now in orbit above Edgewater, Captain. Good luck, Captain.
개구녕이네.
quiet. Watch out! We did it! Kill.
I'd wager this is the outpost. Rebecca! Anders! Here we go!
Hiding.
And that's how it's done, Captain. Hey, take a gander. The door's busted. Rebecca? Anders? You in there?
Huh. Rebecca taught me this once. You can jerry-rig, but we've only ever done that if we're in...
Oh no. Oh no. What did you do? Oh, Nyoka. I'm so sorry.
At least I know. Only thing left is to take these medallions home, which means figuring out the most pissed off I've ever seen a queen was when a... No, we need a plan. Never had the pleasure of hunting primals, but I hear they're all over Scylla.
원시동물 잡으래. 이 동네에도 원시동물 있는데.
Destination reached. Scylla.
Opening fire!
Nice one.
Don't mess with us!
곰비슴 3개 수집하기. 이거 시체 뒤져봐야 되네. 큰 것만 되는가 보다. 작은 건 안 되나 봐. 그러네, 큰 것만 잡아야 돼.
Sorry! Reckon that explains how we ain't dead. Without the pylons, all the O2 this thing's cracking.
Incoming!
뭐야 이거 그냥 NPC인 줄 알았는데.
We're alive. Here we go.
베이머 쓰면 되는 거 아니야? 딴 거 아무거나.
I see you now. I am a storm.
아니 저기 있는 것만 잡아야 되네.
Let's go! Way to go, Pat!
총 종류보다 그냥 레벨이 짱이다. 레벨 높은 게 제일 세다.
That queen ain't gonna. What's up? What's up? Outstanding. There's an.
오나크 그 집으로 가서 다시 하는 거구나. 후.
Sam. We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
고스트 공장 가면 총 맞을 것 같은데. 봐도 뭐라고 안 나는 건데. 네트워크 상태가 안 좋나? 궁지래.
Here we go!
Nice work. Don't mess with us.
Well, this is the spot. You know, I thought I'd be angry. I thought I'd storm in here in a raid, but I ain't. The first night Hayes and I spent in here, we knew it was home. It's safe. Monarch folks often joke about it. Not because of the smell or the grittiness it leaves in your throat. It's because there's no escaping it. But here, somehow the sulfur never made it. We hauled in steel, hired sublight folk to help. That's how we met Anders and Opal. 4 of us for a while, scraping together what bits we could to build our home. Then came Rebecca, and Clara, her little sister. She had a head for numbers, helped us trade hides for food and materials, negotiated contracts. Clara, Hayes, Anders, Rebecca, Opal, and... Me too, Captain. But now let's get to shooting.
Incoming! Incoming! That's more. I'll fix you right up!
유튜브 송출 상태가 진짜 안 좋다. 지금 들어가는 것 같은데. 인터넷이 저거 왜 저러지? 유튜브랑 연결이 안 좋은 건가 그냥?
I wish these were more auspicious circumstances, but that makes it stupid. Captain, thank you. You mind if we rest a spell before we head out? I'd...
메인 캐는 어떻게 변할까? 서캐부터 깨놓고 메인캐 하고.
We've arrived at the groundbreaker.
백배는 지하지.
Is it done?
타트란드 박사와 얘기했어. 이게 뭐더라?
Well, damn. Contractor grew a conscience. Technically, I owe you an exit interview. You're awfully quick to trust someone who offed her colleagues and called it a good start.
You think maybe she's got an itchy trigger finger? I don't want to find out.
I like her, Captain. Let's go before we have to paint this office with her blood.
이게 마지막 미션이었구나 어차피. 아닌가? 그 박사한테 보냈는데 우리가 쓰려고. 메인
We have
퀘스트에
successfully
가까워지는데.
arrived at Phineas's orbital lab, Captain, and we are still in one piece. Shall I congratulate myself, or would you like to do the honors?
뭐란다. 박사 와 있나? 여자 박사? 일로 보냈잖아. 이게 그 주인공이 나온 저건가?
Reviving you from hibernation was my greatest accomplishment. Your odds of survival were a mere 28%. I've kept myself busy in your absence. All I need now is the... Human test subjects. Thank you. You've brought me enough chemicals to get started, at least. I'm just sorry they came. Those poor people. What nonsense. People aren't just slabs of meat the board can freeze. I'll tell you this much. The board scientists are hopelessly lost. After years of fruit... I know! I've suspected as much for years. Of course, I don't expect the board... The board's mismanagement put our colony on the road to collapse. Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. That's not a plan. Do you realize what this means for the Hope? For your fellow colonists? The board's going to kill them all. Toss them out into space, just to make room. Short of lining up Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists, engineers, artists. The board's going to dispose of them all and transform the... We need to get to those colonists before the board. I have enough chemicals to start reviving a few of them, but no easy way to get them off. All right, I've got it. We can't possibly take my... We bring the Hope to us? Just wait until you hear the details. If we link up the Hope to the Unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can...
I don't know much about skip drives, not the physics anyhow. I do know the Hope's real massive.
워프잖아, 워프.
How's our bitty little ship supposed to skip it?
Excellent question, my sharp-witted mechanic. You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the unreliable. Once you've skipped the Hope next to my lab, I'll have easy access to the frozen cup. I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this. Why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers, scientists. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them. Regardless, it's quite comfortable.
진짜 메인 미션 그 저기밖에 안 남았네 이제. 루트가 저거밖에 안 남았네. 볼륨이 생각보다 그렇게 막 두껍진 않은 편이야.
I hope Dr. Wells has not dragged you into one of his irrational schemes again. My diagnosis of his mental stability is not flattering. Welcome back, Cap.
No one ever looks quite the same in person as they do in my reports. And my reports of you have been exceptionally thorough. You've had quite a career.
이게 누구지?
I'm glad to hear that. I've been keeping up with you ever since Emerald Vale. You walked through Edgewater and in your wake transformed it from a loyal company town to a haven for dissidents. I'm actually a little impressed. All this happened because some... You have something I want. Phineas Wells is wanted by the board. Wells is a dangerous madman. You're in contact with Wells. I want you... Don't worry about... Wells was our mistake. I'm sending you my access code.
Adjutant Akonde's call has been terminated. Will there be anything else, Captain?
저거 꼭 해야 되는 거 아니잖아. 저거 하면 너 웰스 잡혀가는 거 아니야.
We have arrived at the Hope. I need you to reroute. You'll have to connect me to the Hope's comm system. If your calculations are even slightly off, or the sun. Welcome. I have lots of minutes. Many minutes. I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber. When I simulate myself in such a scenario, traveling the system with you, Captain. Do you know what it feels like when the ship undergoes an unexpected power surge? As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. In our travels together,
표정 왜 이래. 웰스가 어떤 사람인지 좀 명확히 알면 좋겠는데 정보가 없네. 좋은 사람인지 나쁜 사람인지. 여기가 희망호야? 우리나라에서 나온 영화 중에도 그거 있지 않나? 무슨 그것도 희망호 아닌가? 그거 뭐였지? 희망호. 그게 영화가 뭐 있었는데 그 아씨 누구지? 극한 직업 나온 거 누구지? 진선규, 그래 저 사람 나온 거. 승리호구나 저거는. 뺏긴 거 아니야 약간? 분위기는 비슷한데 내용은 좀 다르고. 뭐야? 어디서 나왔어 갑자기?
Hell of a job.
플라즈마 절단기 골드. 아 이거 유니크는 아니네. 여기도 사람이 있었구나. 아직 살아남은 사람이 있어. 그 박사가 어떤 사람인지 좀 알았으면 좋겠네.
Great work.
나만 나갔네.
Poor bastard.
10,000개 중에 1개 나간 게 나야.
I mean, seeing this place again.
이거야? 매트릭스 아니야?
Error. Occurred. Error. Paradox Protection Protocol.
가면 되나 이제? 엔딩 어떻게 마무리가 될까?
That's the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious to wake him.
Hope's so much like Groundbreaker. I knew they were sisters, but it's eerie. Like walking in another universe. We all died.
These were the private quarters of the Hope's former crew. Shall we hold a moment of silence for the dearly departed? No? That's odd, because my programming would indicate that when forced to confront the idea of self-death, organics prefer... Oh, I see. Yes, never mind.
I don't know if we should be in here, Captain. It should be private, shouldn't it?
박사가 어떤 사람인지 모르겠어요, 근데.
Greetings, Captain. I am speaking to you through the Hope's computer system. It's a rather cramped feeling, but it'll do. Probably not, but don't let that stop you. My Constellation executables could use some beefing up. Searching. Please stand by. Ah, found... Wait, are you leaving me with the Hope's computer? You have no idea what it's like to I mean... Are you sure? That is extremely dangerous. And also potentially kill an entire planet. How is my humor now? Jump-starting the skip drive.
Oh no. Captain, don't do this. I ain't dying on a fucking ship. I wanna die in the dirt like we're meant to.
Doing it. I mean, affirmative. Skipping the Hope in 3, 2, 1.
ADA, does your captain seriously intend to do a micro jump in system with engines that haven't been powered in 70 years on a derelict ship?
That is what my captain intends, yes.
But that is a gross misuse of the skip drive. The Zero Point Drives Corp and I will not be...
Yes, I am aware of that.
You should not be doing this. The humans will die.
Thank you, Hope. It looks like all systems are go. Captain, I would advise you to hold on to something. Now.
생긴 건 진짜 똑같이 생겼네, 그라인드 보니까. 어떻게 되는 거야?
good. We are still alive and have successfully skipped into Terra 2's orbit. I reported as much to Phineas Wells, but he has not responded. Perhaps you should check in on him.
What? Something. I don't recognize you. I'm just trying to make sure you belong here. I guess you've got a point. I don't want any trouble out of you.
쟤는 지금 어디로 왔는지도 모르는가 보네.
Here they come.
어떤 상태인지를 모르겠다 게임이 지금. 근데 선택지를 되게 숨겨놓는 느낌이다 이 게임.
Captain, I am receiving. Captain, I shall now.
The board is here. They've found me somehow. They're about to
나
burst
위치
my
안
door
알려줬네.
open. I can't stop them from getting me, and there isn't enough time to explain everything. But there's something very important you need to remember. The board, all their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. Do you hear me? They're fucking corporate swine. You fucking pigs! I'll take you all out with me! I'll never...
It would seem the recording captured some rather dire events. I presume you'll want to dock at the orbital lab to check on your associate as soon as possible? How can I be of assistance? May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck does not exist. But it seems to comfort humans to believe they possess good quantities of it. Now arriving at Phineas's top-secret orbital lab.
Incoming! Can't get past.
What was that?
Covering you! There they go! Nothing like a good tussle.
이 박사는 돼지로 실험하고 있었네. 인간적이긴 한데 이것도 유니크하네.
Great work.
엔딩이 좀 궁금하긴 한데 확실히. 마지막 장으로 가고 있네 이제. 박사가 납치됐네. 아까 부가 도중까지 없어졌어.
As it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to...
So, Phineas got himself taken to Tartarus. That's usually a one-way trip.
And here we are, entertaining the notion of busting him out. That's insane. And likely a hell of a lot of fun.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth.
GTA 탈옥 같은
But that
느낌이네.
course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclination.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the
아, 이
trouble.
사람 감옥 갔다 왔다 그러지.
Trust me.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business.
If we don't make it, at least it'll be a great story.
Got my trusty tossball stick. Got my ass-kicking boots. I'm ready, boss.
Outstanding.
You can count on us, Captain. We're crew. For real crew. That means we got each other's backs. Right?
Never thought I'd volunteer to break into a prison. Seems like your tendency towards risky behavior is rubbing off on me, Captain.
Command not recognized.
Waiting on your command, Captain.
Hawthorne, if you're getting this, something's happened to me. Got mixed up in some shady business on Gorgon.
아, 이거 전에 했던 거잖아. 아직 그들은 고르곤 DLC 그거잖아. 아, 유니크 놓고 가자. 레벨이 안 맞아. 아, 여기가 그 감옥 행성이야. 그래서 마지막이구나. 이게 잠겨 있었구나. 계속. 이게 마지막이네. 미르를 습격을 하사는 식민지 운명의 결정지으려 하십니다. 세이브로는 타르타루스에서 메인 스토리만 완료하실 수 있으며 사이드 퀘스트 및 고르곤 위험과 에리다노스 세란살과 같은 다운로드 DLC를 이용하실 수 없습니다. 그러니까 저기 진행하면 아예 엔딩 보고 끝난다는 거잖아. 아, 그러네. 이렇게 하고 싶으면 지금 다 해놔라 이거네. 여기서 세이브 한번 해놓자. 오늘 엔딩 보내 드디어 메인캐. 아, 조정도 또 한번 하게 해주네.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth.
짧게 다 했는데 근데 뭐.
That the punishment for trespass. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the prison's docking authority now.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. You are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been... Your ship is not permitted to leave until you remit payment for your fines and submit yourself to execution. Only after your smoking corpse is thrown from an airlock will we lift the lock.
Captain, I would not recommend this course of action.
Protocol is important, ma'am. The sentencing of one crime does not preclude the sentencing of another, technically speaking. Tartarus docking authorities signing up. Hang on. Looks like you're gonna have company at the execution. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the groundbreaker? What the? Pay no mind to that.
지원병력 두고 온다고 그러지
Have a
않았었나?
pleasant day.
Transmission. How can I be of assistance? I'll be here.
막판은 멋있게 그 엔드게임처럼 다 같이 가야 되는 거 아니야, 동료? 우글우글 해갖고 바로 전투야 이제. 그러네, 여기는 바로 전투네. 얘는 누구야? 아, 마데크. 아, 걔네 도와주러 왔네. 오, 예, 든든하구만. 진짜 약간 엔드게임 같은 느낌인데. 다 모여가지고 막 싸우고 이런 거. 마데트들이 도와주러 왔어.
What was that? Red, you say?
이 사회는 어차피 나쁜 적이네. 싸울 수밖에 없네, 마지막 때는. 얘네는 루트를 탈 수가 없어, 나쁜 놈들. 근데 악하게 하고 싶으면 얘네 루트를 타도 되긴 한데 아파. 근데 스타필드나 이런 거에 비해서 규모가 확실히 작긴 작다. 그 게임 규모가 어느 정도 되는지 모르겠는데. 볼륨이 그렇게 큰 편은 아니야. 우주 단위 규모의 게임치고는. 데스티니 가디언즈도 DLC 장사가 많지. DLC가 되게 많이 나왔지. 본편이 그렇게 긴 편이 아니야. 포세이큰 뭐 막 여러 개 있잖아. 이름은 잘 모르겠는데. 마녀여 뭐 그런 거 있잖아. (122m) 근데 액션이나 이런 거는 데스티니 같은 쪽이 되게 재밌긴 해. 슈팅도 그렇고 무기로도 재밌는 거 많아가지고. 괜히 그 역사가 있는 게 아니지. 그런 류를 좋아하는 소비자들의 니즈를 아는 것 같아. 여기 넘어가 볼까?
Incoming! Here I go!
자동으로 나가냐 이거. 다른 게임들에 비해서 게임 이런 맵 규모나 이게 웅장하거나 그런 건 진짜 많이 못 느끼긴 하겠어. 막 보고 우와 막 이런 게 많이 없긴 하다. 우주선이나 이런 거 좀 멋있던데 초반. 타파주의? 얘네 누군지 알겠어. 그러니까 내가 여태까지 도와주고 좀 이렇게 화합시켰던 그 팩션들이 다 와서 같이 도와주고 있네. 식민지 원들이 이제 다 도와주는 거잖아. 연합해서 진짜 엔드게임이네. 이제 엔드게임처럼 되네. 여태까지 도와줬던 애들 다 왔어 지금. 한 팩션 이제 다 오고 있어.
Incoming. I'll fix you right up.
얘네 근데 좀 단단하다. 아프다. 딜 좀 센데. 막 싸울 수 있는 게 아니야. 딜도 안 막히네.
Imagine being locked up in a place like this. Just the weight of all that stone.
Here they come.
얘들이 나 도와주러 왔어. 식민지 애들.
Let's go, troops. Stellar base counting
도와줘.
on us.
얘 왜 안 쏴?
That's the last of them.
그 영상에서 나오던 사람이네. 선동하던 사람.
Well, look who it is.
거지 선동가.
I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter, girl? Couldn't find actual employment?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have. I'm exactly where I want to be.
I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
Keep talking, you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in him.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. I'm not in your way, you dullard. You talk to me. You want to go die in a blaze of glory? Be my guest. Besides, I don't know what you think you're doing here, but Sophia's doing good work up there with Phineas. Your efforts will be in vain. I've got work to do.
얘도 지금 죽이면 안 돼? 죽여야 되는 거 아니야?
What was that? Better take a look.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there.
MSI 누구더라?
Fight!
Process previously.
Wait for
메인보드 없지 않냐? MSI. MSI 왜 기억이 안 나지? 아, 이 마크 보니까 기억난다.
Time to collect a fine. We're really doing this, huh?
진짜 팩션마다 다
Take a
왔네.
breath now, folks. Once we're up there, I suspect we ain't gonna have time to.
엣지워터도 오는 거 아니야?
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my
벌써 잡혔네.
life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced
강한
uncertainty,
자만
and there
살아남아야
is
된다. 약간
nothing I
이런 거
despise
같은데.
more than uncertainty.
선택받은 사람들. 나치 약간 사상이랑 비슷한 거 아니야?
Typical. Running your mouth in the middle of a crisis. It's almost as if my reports described you as one of Halcyon's sharpest minds. I can't imagine why you'd do something so. I should have dealt with you a long time ago. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your impertinence. Leaving you alive was my greatest mistake. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. I'm aware of your propensity for violence. I wish you'd simply cooperated with me. If you insist. This prison is equipped with an automechanical... And don't worry. I will
아, 저 로봇이랑 붙는 거야. 방패도 들고 있네. 우리 선원들도 다 오라 그러면 안 돼? 많은데. 다구리엔 장사 없거든. 아, 6명 있는데.
Done.
22 중화기. 잠깐만. 쟤한테 이거 좋겠는데? 기계잖아. 전기 나 뭐 없나? 어떻게 된 거야? 아, 쟤네가 공격하는 거네. 밑에 가야겠다. 해킹 기술로 메꿨네. 좋구만. 요 사이에 난 간다. 우와, 쟤 쩐다 근데. 쓸었어. 와, 쟤 딜 진짜 안 박힌다 근데. 오, 잡았어 근데. 막타 쳐서 잡았어. 동면실 열쇠. 얘 열쇠 얘가 듣고 키 저기네. 문지기네 문지기. 엔딩이 어떻게 되는 거나 도대체 궁금하다. 우와, 여기 뭐 이렇게 럭셔리해? 오, 이거 씨발 뭐야 이거. 보자마자 쏘네. 환영세가 너무 과한 거 아니야? 쏴. 뭐야, 죽었어요? 한 방에 죽네.
Get me out of here.
아,
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony,
근데 박사가
you have
생각보다
my
뭐 정상이
support.
있는데?
We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if a replacement could keep the Sublight family together. Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. As for Reed Thompson, it was said that he lasted exactly 2 days outside the walls of Edgewater. Years later, a marauder was found in possession of his hat. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. Olivia and Minnie Ambrose worked together to cure the marauders Adrena Time had created. Through their partnership as scientist and administrator, they discovered the harmony that had eluded them as mother and daughter. And through years of patience and effort, they discovered the means to wean Halcyon from the scourge of Adrena Time. Their work eventually allowed Wells and his scientists to treat many of Halcyon's marauders. As their addiction waned, the colonists who had lived for so long under the thrall of Adrena Time returned to their communities and loved ones, and joined in the effort to save Halcyon. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts. The Rizzo's company in Halcyon dissolved after the collapse of the board. Needless to say, the launch of Spectrum Brown was indefinitely delayed. A stockpile of Spectrum Brown remains buried deep beneath the ruins of the old distillery, abandoned to time and attrition. With the dissolution of the board, Ruth Bellamy found herself without the two constants in her life: Byzantine culture and her sister Belinda. In the face of this new reality, she struggled to find a direction for her life. The colony had moved on from Halcyon Helen, and would require new heroes in the years to come. And so Ruth Bellamy decided it was time to exit stage left. She quietly disappeared from public view. The dissolution of the board did not mean the dissolution of the ambitions of Cedric Kincannon, the charismatic leader of Sublight Underground. Cedric offered Slug's transportation services to the newly thawed colonists and set to work ferrying resources and food wherever they were most needed. For better or worse, slug headgear became fashionable in the following years. As the board began to disintegrate, Spencer Woolrich found himself at a crossroads. Cling to what little stardom remained to him, or help usher Halcyon into its new future. To the surprise of many, perhaps himself most of all, Spencer chose the latter option. Having learned a variety of different skills in the many different roles played throughout his lengthy career, Spencer founded a radio serial dedicated to staying alive despite the odds. His subjects included how to survive violent encounters with only grazing wounds, dispense pithy one-liners for tense scenarios, and, of course, how to look good doing both.
내가 지금까지 했던 게 다 엔딩에
After a
나오는
brief
거.
attempt at dating Helen as one person rather than two, which both Bertie and Helen found too strange, Bertie struck out on his own to try his hand at raising woolly cows. Many of his former Rangers teammates soon followed.
다 영향을 미쳤어.
Accompanied
내가
by
이때는
the
동들.
woolly cow the team had originally plied with alcohol. The dairy farm thrived under Bertie's leadership and care. The dairy rangers privately believed that the woolly cows softened Bertie's temper considerably, although the only one brave enough to say this to his face was promptly headbutted. Due to the board's dissolution, many of the Prophet's old customers no longer found quite the same value in productivity seminars that they once had. With her business drying up, the Prophet chose to take her followers down a new path. Months later, salvagers
이제
on
감옥에
Eridanos found clues
감금했었는데.
leading them to a seemingly abandoned bunker out in the wilderness. Inside, they discovered horribly mangled corpses, sacrificed to a blood-scrawled portrait of a sprat-headed deity. The Prophet was not among the bodies. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. she decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you? The unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon. Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
엔딩은 되게 거창하게 끝나네. 그냥 넘어가죠, 이렇게. 계속하면 아까 거기 들어가기 전부터 하는 건가 보다. 아, 여기서 시작이야. 하여튼 끝났네. 와, 씨. 이걸 다 깼어. 쉽지 않았다. 다 깼어, 이거를. 되게 용량 되게 크네. 52기가 넘어가네. 다 했다 이건. 오늘 이거 세팅만 해놓고. 기억하고 보니까 팀 17이 저기네. 그 웜지아마기 때 만들었던 데네 옛날에. 그니까 맨날 보라색으로 그거 마크 떴었어. 시작할 때 맞아. 기억해보니까. 에픽이 끝이야. FXA가 더 빠르긴 한데. FX가 뭐지 이게? 가시거리. SASAO도 필터링이잖아. 보이싱크 끔. 딱히 뭐 이렇게 많이 설정할 거 없네 이게. 일단 설정은 해놨고. 오늘은 조금 짧게 하긴 했는데 오늘 컨디션이 좀 안 좋아가지고 여기까지 하고 내일 그 주간 미션 초기화되면은 홀아웃 이벤트를 하고 나서 나중에 남는 시간 때 저거를 좀 하든지 딴 게임 하도록 하겠습니다. 일단 여기까지 하겠습니다.